Hey, what's up guys? It's Rob. You are of course on Rule of Two Review, and I'm coming to you again in my living room, not to my normal vlog area, just because it felt like the place I wanted to sit today, so that I could talk about something pretty cool Nintendo related. Now, there were a few articles that went up today talking about whether or not Nintendo is working on a new console. And now I know we've heard this conversation a couple of times so far this generation since the Wii U came out, especially when the other new consoles, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, were getting ready to launch. And that was really at the tail end of the Wii U's first year, which wasn't so strong. But this stuff is actually starting to be kind of credible, which is pretty interesting because it's a quote directly from Miyamoto. I first saw this on a Kotaku article that I saw posted on Facebook today, and then I've seen a couple other videos and stuff made about it on YouTube. Rich of Review Tech USA, who I really like and trust quite a bit, also made his own video, so it's a pretty interesting kind of take on the whole thing. I recommend you check that out. But what I want to do, as far as getting into the idea of what they're doing, if they're actually doing this, and what it could mean, is first I want to read the quote. You might have already read it yourself, but I'm going to go ahead and reread it here so that I can discuss it with you guys here. So this is what Shigeru Miyamoto, like the guy, you can't really question the validity of a statement like this because it's coming from him. So this is what he said. I believe it was the Associated Press is who he was speaking to at first. I should scour this to find out where, but I'm not, whatever. I think that's who. Anyway, so this is what he said. He says, "We're focused on providing a robust lineup of Wii U software for next year. It seems like we've managed to do that this year, and people are very happy with what we've done on Wii U. For the time being, our focus is on the Wii U hardware, but Nintendo as a whole has groups working on ideas for new hardware systems." That's a key sentence I want to come back to. Last thing he says, "While we're busy working on software for the Wii U, thank God, we all know that, we have production lines that are working on ideas for what the next system might be." So, pretty cool stuff. I like the idea. I like what's going on. There's a couple of things to take away from it. I think the first and most important thing to take away from it is that he, of course, still mentions that the Wii U is still a current focus, and there are still games coming out for the Wii U that they're dedicated to making. That's good for a couple of reasons. I mean, there is the element of, yes, he has to say that. Rich of Review Tech USA did kind of mention that statement specifically as damage control, and I see what he's getting at, but I don't agree with that aspect of it. I really think that he is just trying to, you know, reassure gamers out there and people who have been owning and supporting and now buying the Wii U more than they have since it launched, that, hey, this system, we're not dropping the system. It's not dying. It's not going away soon. We still have things that are coming out for it. We're still dedicated to it. I mean, if that's not immediately obvious by the fact that Star Fox and Zelda are two massive Nintendo properties coming out for the Wii U just next year, then I don't know what is. I mean, that really is a telltale sign that, I mean, you're not going to release your huge, you know, 4 year in the making, will it be 4 years by the time it comes out, 4 year in the making epic next-gen Zelda experience for a system that you're going to drop within another couple of months or a year. That's just not going to happen. Same with Star Fox. Not to mention there were so many great games that came out specifically from Nintendo as well as a couple other companies this year. When you look at Donkey Kong, Hyrule Warriors, which they developed with another company, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, those games came out this year. You know, again, there's a Yoshi game, there's a Kirby game, smaller scale kind of games, but still, Yoshi, Kirby, Splatoon is a Nintendo game that they're coming out with, not an established property, but still, and then of course Zelda and Star Fox. So, there's shit happening on the Wii U. They can't start letting people think that the Wii U is going to be going away anytime soon. And I think that when you look into some of the other things he says, specifically the last thing he says where he says, "We have production lines that are working on ideas for what the next generation system could be," to me that means that it is so early in the development phase. There's no way they're even looking at hardware at this point. I wouldn't think, which means that the system is probably 3 years away. At this point, you know, here we are, December 2014, you know, just finished November. If it's November 2017 that this system were to come out, that's 5 years for the Wii U. That is 3 years from right now, and that is an amazing life cycle for the system, and there's no doubt that it's going to continue to pick up. You know, we can't forget, just like I'm sure Nintendo has also noted this, that this second year from the Wii U was drastically better than the first year. They're only making gains. It's a year-on-year improvement, as they and a lot of people in the industry will say on a regular basis. It's year-on-year upgrade, uptick, I should say, of sales and positive reception. There's no doubt to me that Nintendo has noticed this, and it's probably doing pretty well for itself. Yes, it is now third place in the current generation console race, if you want to call it that. But, you know, I've said this a couple times too. Nintendo has very cleverly positioned themselves, you know, in a point where they don't have to be directly competing with the other two guys. I mean, they are a competition, but I don't think that they need to one-up any of the other guys to still be a successful console and successful and profitable for Nintendo. And that is a unique position that I don't quite think the other guys are exactly in, which is pretty cool when you look at that. Not to mention just the architecture of the system, their unique controller, and their way more unique and varied library that the other guys don't have. There's nothing but uniqueness with the system and what Nintendo is doing. So I just, you know, in reiterating this point, I don't think that they have to consider the growth that they're having as not enough to still be successful, which means I think it could easily carry the system for 5 years. So it depends, you know, 2016, if that's when it came out, I mean, that'd be pushing it, you know. And I should also say, don't get me wrong, because the idea of a new Nintendo system, another next-generation system, I mean, that's just exciting just because. You know, we know they'll be doing some cool ideas. There's recent reports about them working with Samsung on this weird, unique, you know, flexible LED technology or something for their new hardware. Who knows what that's going to be and if that has anything relevant to do with this new system. You know, there's another aspect which is actually really cool to this, too, is it's very obvious that they're working on hardware. That word is used two times. One time, that word is used in this quote, and to me, hardware means it's a box, it's a physical, it's a thing, and that is something that we don't necessarily know Sony or Microsoft are going to be doing with whatever they make after the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. You know, they are always moving more and more towards this cloud kind of system and this online streaming sort of thing with Gaikai and PlayStation Now with Sony and stuff. So they really may be coming sooner than later to a point where they're not releasing physical boxes for us to keep under our TVs. And I think that's actually said. I'm not looking forward to that. I will still always like those companies and their games, and I will still support them, but I am so unbelievably afraid of that future when that becomes the norm. I do not want that. I want a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox 2 or whatever. You know, I want those things just as much as I want my next Nintendo system, my next Wii U or Wii X or whatever they would end up calling it, you know. So the fact that we're still looking at a potential future in the next 2 to 3 or 5 years where Nintendo's next system does come out, which we know they're going to make, this confirms that, and maybe it will be the only actual physical hardware that sits under your TV that you have to go into a store to buy a physical disc and a physical game for, as well as purchase stuff online in the eShop. That could be a huge advantage to them. Something else that, again, I know I keep mentioning this video, but Rich's video, I'm going to link it below. It's a really good video, and I like what he said. It's very truthful and honest. And he made a good point that is a huge advantage that they have, and they should take advantage of that if that proves to be true. And I think that they could strengthen their brand even more so. And I also think that come 2017, with the probably growing success the Wii U will see, and I think a lot more people are going to be opening up to it, you know, by that time, it's very easy there's 50, 60, 70 million Wii U's sold if they pick up the continued growth that they have every year, you know. I mean, at the current pace, they wouldn't get that way in another 3 years. But if it's improving that much year on year, maybe. So, you know, 50 million units, maybe 60 million. You know, that'd be great. I'd be very happy and proud of them if they reached that. And so at that point, so many more people might be, you know, apt to accept Nintendo back into their lives that once they release another brand new system, I mean, who knows? Sky's the limit. So the last thing is, I guess there's two more things. One is, what could it be? And I guess the first question a lot of people probably have on their minds is how powerful is it going to be, you know? Because the last 2 generations, Nintendo has released systems that were very much specifically designed to be a little bit behind the direct competition power-wise, you know, for the sake of a cheaper price, but a more unique control and interactive experience with the user, which I think has been great for both systems. Granted, the Wii was very far behind its competition at the time. The Wii U, very similar in power ability to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Nintendo seems to be proving that they're the only company that could actually get that power out of the Wii U. The other third-party developers, and this is actually also common with Nintendo, don't seem to be able to get the same kind of results. But if Nintendo wanted to make a game that looked as good as, like, the new Batman game, which looks fantastic, by the way, they could probably get a game to look really, really close to that. I mean, they could probably make a ported version of that game that is very close to what the other two systems and the PC version will be looking like. So, the Wii U, yes, it's the third most powerful of the consoles currently, but it's no slouch. It's not a complete weakling, and it can and will easily support itself because of the games as well for a 5-year life cycle. I absolutely believe that. Provided gamers start getting smarter and start picking it up more and more, which I think will happen once so many people have purchased a PS4 and an Xbox One and they're ready to buy a new system. Well, the only thing left to buy is the Wii U, and by that time there will be so many games it would be absolutely dense to deny them. And again, I say this, as I tend to remind people in my videos, I say this as a Wii U, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One owner, and someone who enjoys all three of them. So what could the system be? Well, I certainly do hope that it is extremely powerful. Now, what's tricky with that statement, just for me and my personal viewpoint, is, in general, I don't think power makes a system a good system. And I don't think the best graphics in the world make a system or a game a good system or a good game. They can aid in it, and a lot of times they do help make that system or game very good. But I don't think that they're the only factor, and I don't think that they are a mandatory factor. Hence why I enjoyed my Wii more than my Xbox 360 last generation, and why I'm enjoying my Wii U more than I am my PS4 or Xbox One this generation. And those were the least powerful systems of their respective generations. So it really is about the game, and it's about, with Nintendo specifically, because they do this so well, how are you letting me interact and use your system? What is the user interface that I'm using? Is it a Wii Remote and Nunchuck? That was amazing. I loved it. Is it the gamepad? It's fucking awesome. I love that thing, But my point is, even though I don't think those things are necessary, when I think about where Nintendo has been last generation with the Wii, this generation with the Wii U, and going into a next generation, I do think it's time for them to do what they were doing during the 64 and GameCube days, where they were going out of their way to make something as technically savvy with the most high-end graphical prowess that they could possibly make it for that current time. When this system would release in 2017, let's say, I want it to be the most powerful beast a 2017 machine could be. More so for myself, because again, what I'm trying to state is I don't need that to enjoy their games or any games really. I like it, but I don't need it. I do, however, think it's going to be very important for them in trying to brand themselves back out to all the hardcore gamers, the people who maybe stopped gaming with Nintendo over the last couple generations, or even the younger guys who are growing up in a world where Nintendo isn't the dominant factor, which is tragic to me that any young gamer now is growing up in a world where Nintendo is not number one. You have no idea what you guys are missing. The gaming world is better when they are on top, but again, I'm not slamming the other guys. I'm glad the PlayStation 4 is on top. I'm glad the 360 did so well last generation. I love them all. So they're great. But trust me, Nintendo just is that little kind of special something. So I think that they need to do that so that all gamers, not just Nintendo gamers and not just the broad hardcore gamers that will play everything, who are like myself and maybe a lot of you guys, but the people who normally wouldn't play a Nintendo system, they need to reach out to them, and that is a way to do it. Where they're like, bam, motherfuckers, look at the power of the new Wii U. And it's like, people are like, oh my God, I need 7 in my life. That would be a great thing for them. And I really hope that they do that. It'd be very, very smart. They can keep doing crazy things with the controllers and the interface. I think that's great. Maybe they're going to have a screen included on the system, or comes with its own TV screen that does weird 3D things, holograms, the flexible screen that Samsung might be making. I mean, who knows? They're always thinking of new crazy ideas, which is why they're my favorite company, why they're a great company, and why they are keeping this industry on their toes. Even when they're not doing the best, they keep the right kind of I guess I want to say nobility, the purity of the spirit of gaming and trying to innovate, even when they fail. At least they try. And there's not enough companies out there doing it. And when it comes to them making their next system, they might be one of the only, if not the only company trying to do something still new. And no, making a cloud system that's a streaming service on your TV won't be a new thing, and it won't be innovative. That won't make the PlayStation 5 the most innovative console if it's just a fucking app you download on a smart TV in 2018. You know, there are different things that make gaming innovative, and at least Nintendo, again, I will admit they don't always succeed, but the fact that they try is what matters the most to me, and I think a lot of other Nintendo gamers. That's probably what you guys see in them as well. So gosh, I guess, am I getting to the end here? The last thing is if it's smart for them to do this. And I think there's two answers. I think it's smart for them to start working on ideas, again, not manufacturing anything and working with developers on new games for the launch, but just to start kicking around ideas and getting an idea of what's it going to be, what's it going to be made of, how powerful, what kind of chipset, what kind of controller, what are we doing with this next system. Very smart to be working on it and talking about it now. Honestly, console manufacturers are always doing that several years before the console comes out. It takes that long to develop it, solidify the components, what's the system going to be, then get dev kits out so other companies can actually start making freaking games for it. They do that years in advance. So this is the right time for them to start doing that. I do think it was an odd choice to make it a publicly known thing now, because you don't want people to mistake the message and potentially think it means that there isn't going to be much more support for the Wii U. And I don't believe that they're going to drop the Wii U. I fully believe that, I mean, 2015, we already know is going to be a second great year for the Wii U. And although we know nothing about 2016, I fully believe that there will be great games coming out for the Wii U in 2016 as well. So I don't think that they are going to be slowing down how they're dedicated to the system, but I do believe that some people may misunderstand the message, and that could potentially hurt the system or hurt the way people view the company, as Rich of Review Tech USA does say in his video, that people could maybe lose faith in Nintendo or any company that would do this. And I do agree with that idea, that possibility that could happen. I don't really want that to happen. I want them to get the right messages across. I mean, I'm excited to hear this news and think about a new system in a couple years simply because I already trust them and I'm not mad at them and I just want to play whatever that is, and I'll still support and enjoy my Wii U until then. But maybe not everybody would. So it's an odd choice that this interview happened this way and that Miyamoto said this today the way he did. It's nothing confirmed. It's no concrete information. You heard the entire quote. You know, we don't know what it's going to look like, how powerful it's going to be, what kind of controllers it's going to use, blah blah blah. There's like, we know nothing. We don't even know when it might even come out. You know, I just hope that they don't mistakenly release it too early, and I hope that it's the right kind of system for the time that it's releasing. And I hope that it doesn't affect the Wii U currently. Again, I really don't think it's going to. I don't even think it at all, to tell you the truth. But, you know, you never know. And I just hope that it doesn't. And I hope that they do the right things to get other people excited about Nintendo again, the way I know, and a lot of maybe you guys out there know, that people should be, because they're such a great company and they just do the best things for gaming, you know. They are not perfect, and I'm not like an apologist for my favorite company, but I know why they're my favorite company, and it's that even when they fail, I like that they try, but more often than not, they succeed, and when they do succeed, they succeed far better than 99% of the competition, and I think that that's pretty cool. So, holy hell, I think I got it all out. I'm pretty sure that's everything I wanted to say. Obviously, huge Nintendo fan, even as a fan of all gaming. I love the guys so much, they're just my favorite company, so I get extra special excited to talk about things like this. I hope they don't screw this up. I don't think they will. You know, I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen. I think I've spent my brain. I don't think I have much more to say on it. So, of course, what do you guys think? There's a lot going on with this quote and with this idea, especially considering it's really no hardcore details, yet I still managed to talk for 18 freaking minutes about no details. But, hey, that's me and Nintendo. What are you going to do? So, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that this all is good news? Do you think it's not so good news? Do you think they're going to mess this up? Do you think that this is the right time? Do you think it's too early? I mean, what do you think the next system actually will end up being at the time that it does come out? Do you think, this is a good one, I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that any of the other guys, Sony or Microsoft, or even a new player, Valve or Apple or whatever, do you think that they will make another physical box like Nintendo is going to be doing? Or do you think that one or all of them may be going completely cloud, completely streaming based? I mean, that's a really interesting idea in and of itself. So, I don't know. You guys tell me. That's all I have to say, 19 minutes, about Nintendo and their potential new next generation hardware for the next 3 or 4 years or whatever. So, Yeah, thanks for checking it out. As always, I really appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe to Rule of Two Review if you just stumbled upon this. I don't normally do the vlog videos, and when I do, they're not normally in my living room. There's a much more interesting background, but this is just when I decided. Sometimes I just want to do this. So, of course, please subscribe, like and share the video, share your comments and your thoughts about all this crazy Nintendo madness below, and I will catch you guys on the next regular video for Rule of Two Review.